today's class, and today we are going to discuss about CPM, that is continuous passive motion machine. This is one of the part in electrotherapy as far as physiotherapy is concerned, and let us understand what does the CPM stand for, right? So what is a CPM? So CPM is a passive motion that is performed by mechanical device that moves a joint slowly and continuously through a controlled range of motion. So whenever you need a controlled range of motion in the joint, right, we are using CPM. Now why should you go for continuous passive motion machine? Why you want to go for a machine? Why you cannot go for passive movement when we learn passive movement in physiotherapy? Sometimes in certain cases these motions are required over a longer period of time to avoid stiffness, and that is why you need it for a longer period of time. A human a therapist or a human person cannot go for passive motion more than a certain amount of time. So you need a machine that can give it for say approximately 15 minutes or half an hour or 1 hour as per the prescription or as per the need of the position. You have to use CPM. Now CPM's usage in today's time is limited to very specific timings, and within that timing only CPM usage is being needed nowadays, right? So again, CPM refers to a passive motion that is performed by a mechanical device. That is why CPMM, that is continuous passive motion machine, that moves a joint slowly and continuously through a controlled range of motion, right? So let us see the next slide. These are the types of devices you can see in your clinics or in your setups wherever you will be working, or in your colleges also you'll be having these machines in your clinics. So these are known as the continuous passive motion device or the continuous passive motion machine, right? Now what is the benefits of continuous passive motion machine? Number one, it prevents development of adhesions, contracture and joint stiffness. So post-operatively, for example, a patient has undergone a certain type of operation, and post-operatively you want to avoid adhesion formation while the patient is in phase 1, that is the maximum protection phase. Now here there are two things: you need motion also, and you do not need patient's effort also, right? So we do not want the patient to do the movement, because if the patient will do the movement, probably he might have pain or he might have some other, that there might be a stiffness in inhibition of the muscle post operatively, or post fracture or post accident or whatever it might be, right? For whatever reason it is given, or there can be a problem with the patient's performance also, right? It can so happen that probably the pull of muscle, or rather there is a associated muscle damage for which we do not want the muscle to move, right? Or we do not want isometric or isotonic contraction in the muscle. So in this case we are going to use it as a passive motion to prevent the development of contractures, adhesions and joint stiffness. Okay, second thing is providing stimulating effect on healing tendons and ligaments. See, we know that there is healing through second intention. That means a little bit of movement can be allowed, and when a little bit of movement is allowed, it precipitates or stimulates collagen formation. It stimulates fibroblastic and fibroclastic activities, which stimulates new tissue generation over there. So this can be used, right? Then there is minimizing the effect of immobilization. For example, if immobilization is compulsory, and as I said that we do not need the patient to move it, then and to keep the joint intact, the joint properties and the joint condition intact, we have to give him immobilization, then we can use it. It can also be used to increase the synovial fluid of the joints, so increasing rate of intra-articular healing. So we know that whenever there is a movement in the joint, it stimulates the interoceptors of the joint and the kinesthetic proprioceptors of the joint, which in case reflectively stimulates release of synovial fluid in the joint. So these are certain benefits which we can achieve by CPM machine, right? Now what are the indications? Now after any joint surgeries, for example, it can be ACL tear or any ligament surgery post reconstruction of a ligament, you can use this particular machine, right? Then post arthroplasty, that is knee replacement surgeries also, sometimes this is used to avoid the post-operative stiffness that is caused by inhibition of muscles, right? And to reduce the post-operatively joint inflammation also, we have to use it, because as it stimulates the synovial movement, it reduces the inflammation and helps the joint to recover faster. Okay, then surgical repair of intraarticular or extraarticular fractures, sometimes it can be used in fracture management also. Then post meniscectomy it can be used, or it can be used in osteochondral repair. So these are some of the indications where CPM can be used. Fine. Contraindication is in cases which device can cause unwanted translation of opposing bone. What we mean by unwanted translation or overstressing the healing processes, that either it is pulling or it is changing the direction of the fixed bones, or sometimes if the ligament is repaired, it is stretching the ligament and causing weakness of the reconstructed portion of the ligament. Then in such cases it is contraindicated. This is clearly discriminated by the operating surgeon or by the doctor who is actually prescribing the patient for CPM. Right? Now, precautions that should be taken is that the CPM use of CPM in conjunction with anticoagulation therapy may produce intracompartmental hematoma. Right? This is one precaution that is to be taken, because when you are giving anticoagulation therapy, when the patient is on anticoagulation therapy, and if there is excessive use of CPM, it might lead to compartmental hematoma, right? Increase in bleeding in the particular compartment, or skin irritation from the straps or bandages that are tied over the patient's leg, and if you are pulling it, right? For example, it is covered with bandage, or it is covered with crepe bandage and elastic crepe bandage, and you are pulling the leg or pushing the leg, that can cause some skin irritation or skin effects also, that is to be taken care of when we are giving it. Right? Now, what are the principles of clinical application? The CPM unit is often applied in the recovery room, right? So again, this is depending on the doctor's discrimination, whichever doctor and whatever the doctor needs to say, that is definitely the main thing, right? The arc of motion of the joint is determined. Fine. So often a low arc of 20 to 30 degree is used initially, so that the patient gets accustomed to the movement, and gradually it can be increased. Rate is usually 1 cycle per 45 seconds, that is quite slow. So you go 1 cycle means the from extension to flexion, and again flexion to extension, it might take 45 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on patient's pain, patient's tolerance, and the time of CPM when it is given. The amount of time of CPM machine ranges from 1 hour 3 times per day to continuous for 24 hours, depending on various conditions. So the minimum is 1 hour 3 times a day. Again, surgeon or doctor's discrimination is required over here, because they are the people who are going to give the prescription. In some cases where physiotherapy has to decide, you should consult with the referring doctor, and you can do it, right? In case you are treating the patient directly, you have to make it sure that the patient is actually fit for taking CPM, right? And then you should start CPM. So please remember this. Fine. Physical therapy treatment is provided during the time, and it is not given on the CPM machine. When the patient is on CPM machine, we are not going to give him any exercises. Right now you are going to give him rest, right? Duration is minimum less than 1 week, and if the satisfactory range of motion is achieved, the treatment is cleared off, right? So this you have